Hey, this is a Jersey Hobby Hour for October 28th, 2015. This is episode 10, and I am joined tonight by Alan Wan, my co-host, as usual.
Hey guys, the Knicks season starts this year. They can't get any worse than last year, right?
And I'm Steve Chin, your regular host. And last week we had Justin Kaz on, but this week he's not going to be on the show. He might join us sometime later in the future. But we have Alan back. Boo.
I don't know. That's a good thing.
This week we have a mishmash of topics, mainly from entertainment and gaming. A little bit of other news in there as well. But it's kind of cool because both Alan and I haven't really reviewed the topics together a whole lot. And in fact, there's nothing posted in the video details for YouTube down below yet. We'll get to that probably later on tonight, perhaps tomorrow, and we'll get some information up to you guys. This way you can take a look. But I'll be bringing up the web pages on the screen for you. This way you can take a look right alongside of us if you happen to be watching. This is a show where we just talk about basically all of our hobbies, which include entertainment and gaming, like I've already mentioned, but also covers a number of other topics like tabletops, movies, tech, current events.
We've never done tabletop, by the way. We've never done tabletop. Sorry.
We could.
I'm just saying we haven't, though. But we haven't. Sorry.
We talk about everything that we basically like and whatever comes to mind. So this is really not organized in any fashion at all. This is just going to be completely off the cuff, especially since both Alan and I have not reviewed any of the notes together at all.
Oh, this is gonna be a shit show. Like literally a shit show.
Okay, so let's jump right into it. First thing on the list of stuff that we have to talk about. You can go ahead and introduce. Go for it.
Okay. So first topic we're going to go over is actually the Supergirl pilot that premiered, I believe, yesterday on the I think it was CBS, yes. So actually, I saw this pilot like 4 or 5 months ago.
Because you want to explain how you came across that?
I fell off a truck. So I've seen it beforehand. So I don't know how how it flow in terms of cutting from commercial break to commercial break. My overall kind of feelings to the actual show, it's okay. I mean, obviously it's trying to establish the mythos where it's an origin story of how of Kara, how she was initially sent to Earth along with her baby cousin, who's going to be Superman, and then she gets trapped in some kind of phantom zone or something like that, and basically, like I think 15 years or 20 years later, she gets out of it, and then her cousin comes to save her. But since after she gets out of the Phantom Zone or something, all these bad guys come out of it, which is basically some of the beings that she's going to end up having to fight in the show.
So 15 or 20 years later, we're talking about like when Superman already kind of knows what his powers are.
Oh, no, Superman's established. He's like 20. I'm sorry, it's 25 years because Superman's like in his mid 20s. He's embraced and he's taken up the mantle as Superman, and he actually saves her.
So this cousin is supposed to go rescue her baby cousin. Is that
yes.
what?
Well, basically she was sent along with Kal-El. When the destruction of Krypton, but because something happened, she was supposed to be the one that was watching after him. But since she wasn't there for him, and then he grows up and becomes Superman, her mission. That's kind of the thing. Also, with this show is that her mission was initially to go to Earth and protect her baby cousin, but now she's not. She doesn't have that mission anymore. That was the last thing her parents told her to do, but now she doesn't have that mission because her cousin's Superman, for God's sakes. So basically, she's trying to kind of fit in and live a normal life. So her cousin kind of sets her up with with this foster family basically, and she kind of
Hey, you want to go on a double date? I totally see it.
Oh no, but she's actually 13, so like it takes over time. So all right, sorry about that. So basically Supergirl, the actual, it happens where Supergirl Kara. She's like around like 22, 23 years old. She's working for basically the what was it, like the bitch from The Devil Wears Prada, essentially. I think she's the actress is the one that plays is the one that's Ally McBeal. That's Harrison Ford's husband. Harrison Ford's wife. You know what I'm talking about? If you think about it, but basically she's basically like the Devil Wears Prada, and what she does is basically she's like an intern almost like that, or she's basically she's running errands for her, and the lady runs like a magazine, and then it's like similar to like a newspaper, and then she lives in a different city apart from Superman.
So it's not in Metropolis.
It's not in Metropolis. It's a different city. And actually, the only connection to Superman, from what they've kind of teased, is that Jimmy Olsen's the photographer for Clark Kent at the Daily Planet. I'm sorry. He comes over. Daily Bugle is Spider-Man. Daily Planet. God, they're all the same shit. He comes over, and basically Superman's trying to use him to kind of mentor Kara to kind of embrace the mantle of Supergirl. So that's kind of what they're trying to do, and he's also apparently her love interest too.
So I mean, since you've seen this, does it seem like a show that's aimed at like a younger teenage crowd that kind of Smallville was, or is this aimed at like a more general population, kind of like how Daredevil or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is kind of now?
My interpretation is that it's definitely trying to be general audience, but I think it pleases more of the girl, like the girl demographic. Like I was watching it with my girlfriend, and she was like, "Oh, she's so cute," because the actress that portrays Kara, she has this like little like lovable, adorability to her that kind of like you feel more. She feels more relatable than Superman. Because when you see Superman, you see this god, basically, and you don't feel like you can relate to him. But for her, like, she has that sense of relatability.
What I'm getting at, though, is not necessarily from the character, but like from like the pacing and
the tone,
the stylistic ideas of the show. Like, is Supergirl this sort of Smallville-esque kind of style where it's like, I'm watching Dawson's Creek, but with Superman? Like, is it like that?
Sort of like that, also similar to how Smallville was, where they had like basically the baddie of the week, essentially. It seems like that. So she ends up basically, sorry, spoiling everything. She basically ends up working for the government, where they're tracking these baddies. So it's kind of the baddie of the week. But the tone, but like you said, it is targeting it does a lot of like girl power stuff. You know, like
this is a WB show, right?
No. It's a CBS show, actually.
It's a CBS show.
CBS.
Okay,
but that's the thing. That's what I was gonna say. I'm not sure it even has we're gonna talk about that later in terms of continuity along with like Arrow and Flash, but it has that girl power-esque kind of feel. So I feel like it'll it's pretty targeted to like the teenagers, but more of like the females.
Do you happen to know when the show airs?
It airs, I think, on Tuesday nights on CBS. I think at 8. It actually did really, really good ratings. If you were to ask me if I would watch it, maybe not so much. Maybe I'll catch it if it's on, because it seems like it's just has too much of that girl power stuff kind of thing. Like it's really making. I mean, it's a great time for female nerds now, because it feels like everything has like this. They're trying to make all these like strong, powerful female characters. Like in Star Wars, like they have this new character named Rey. You don't know who she is, but she seems like she's the lead of the movie, right? So it seems like there's a lot of like they're definitely trying to please like the nerdy female crowd. If that's what you're trying to ask.
Well, I wasn't so sure that I was like talking that direct. I was really just looking for like a general demographic, not necessarily like hey, you have to pick out nerd girls or I don't know if it's that.
It feels to me,
I don't think anything is necessarily that specific, right?
No, I know, but I'm just saying, just like all those little one-liners, like only a girl could do this. Like it kind of hits you over the head with that a lot. It's not for me, but my girlfriend loved it because she loves it. For her, she thought it was really cute. Right. I thought it was like, it's all right.
So, I mean, is this something that you think that I would watch? I mean,
no. If I were to
a lot of girly stuff.
Well, you used to watch Everwood or whatever that thing was called.
I'm still finishing up Revenge right now.
What the fuck? I'm sorry. You might as well watch was like how to escape, how to get away with murder or something like that.
Yeah, that's like that's got like law in it or something, and I don't know if I enjoy that or not.
Yeah, but I don't think you would enjoy it. I think you would enjoy Flash a lot better. Um, I definitely think you would enjoy Flash a lot
There
better.
are a lot of other shows that I'd probably watch ahead of this, like Arrow and Flash. But
I agree.
so tell me about this next thing on our list here, the Power Rangers movie. So I mean, this has been up sort of in the air, kind of floating around that I've been seeing a lot, and I don't really know a whole lot about it, and I'm sure you've been following it a lot better than I have. So go ahead and lay it on me.
All right. So they announced the official title. It's a exclusive. It's a scoop apparently. I mean, so it's not 100% confirmed, but it's from a decently reliable source. So they announced the name of the title. It's gonna be called Saban's Power Rangers. Whatever. Saban is the company that started the Power Rangers TV show.
I remember the after credits roll. Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually it's a guy. It's a family, by the way. It's a dude's last name. So, but basically, what you call it? They're the characters. They're not going to use the same character names. So they're going to have the Red Ranger, Pink Ranger, Blue Ranger, Black Ranger, and the Yellow Ranger with the same dinosaur that they had, right? But they're using different characters. So, actually, they're definitely trying to mix it up.
Is this supposed to be a reboot? Is that ultimately what this is supposed to be? Like,
it is not a reboot. It is a reimagining. It is not a reboot. It is a reimagining.
Is there a difference?
Yes, because reboot is like you're completely starting from fresh. Reimagining is kind of like you're.
I think honestly, I think a reimagining can be one of two things, and this happens a lot in gaming too. A reimagining could be made by someone else and just happen to be about the same sort of universe, but doesn't interconnect with them, or it could be by the same people that made the original and just kind of another separate story aside, right? Just like a new Batman comic series is just a reimagining of Batman. It's not a reboot, right? Because there's also other writers who are writing other stories about Batman like concurrently.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like the word reboot like necessitates like
you're starting from fresh.
Reality.
Yeah, you're starting from fresh. Reimagining, you're taking the same premise. You're trying to take an original take to it. That's what we're not sure. I hope it's a reimagining, to be honest with you, as opposed to a reboot, because it's not really a reboot because it's not using the original characters.
So I mean, is this a movie that's going to be funded by Bandai? Like,
Oh yeah, but they're not really funding it that much, considering compared to all the other movies that you see spending like hundreds of millions of dollars. Apparently, reportedly, this movie cost only $35 million to make, and I think that's mostly due because they're casting a bunch of no names. So if you go on the Instagram for the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers site, they actually have all these all the characters, like all the actors that they cast, and they're all a bunch of no names. Okay. I think actually at the page that Steve is showing, if you scroll down a little bit, you can see actually the names of the characters, and one of the things you can see is that the Pink Ranger is not a blonde. She's Indian actually. The actress that plays her is actually Indian. Naomi Scott. She was actually in The Martian for like a very brief moment, but she was in there. Obviously, the Black Ranger is not black. He's like an Asian guy now. Go figure. And the Blue Ranger is actually the black guy. And I think the Yellow Ranger is going to be black, I believe, as well. Oh, African American. But yeah, what you call it? I don't know how this is going to play out, to be honest with you. I think this movie is going to really rely on the tone of the movie. Like, is this going to be like cheesy and campy, like the original Power Rangers?
I mean, I think it's cheesy and campy, or at least it was. Now that we look back on it, back when we were growing up watching Power Rangers, it was like, "Whoa, this is awesome!"
It is still awesome.
I don't know about that.
But it really depends on what kind of tone they're gonna have with it. Steve, did you ever watch the short film that they had out recently with
Yeah.
Katie Sackhoff and James
I
Vanderbeek?
watched that. It was really good. It was really dark tone.
Really dark.
It's probably definitely worth a look. We'll put that in the show notes. This way other people can check it out.
Yeah.
It's only a few minutes long. It's definitely worth a watch.
Yeah. So if it goes with a tone like that, that would be, I think that would be interesting. But I really think that Saban's really there to sell toys essentially. So I think that's why they're gonna go with more of a younger audience. It's gonna be very, really for us. It's not gonna be targeted for the hardcore fans, the fans like us. It's gonna be for.
I don't know if a hardcore Power Rangers fan really exists with like.
I don't know if you should know. I don't know if I should say that. I've seen most of the series, even after Turbo in space.
Oh boy,
I've seen a lot. I think I haven't seen Dino Charge yet, but I've seen the one before that. I think that was Super Mega Force. There we go.
I don't know. Like, I watched a few of the series afterwards, just like a few episodes, but like just something like innately different than about those than in like the original series. And I don't know what it is.
Maybe it might be because we're more conscious about it too. Because back then,
I mean, like, we go back and we watch stuff on Nickelodeon from when we were growing up, like Rocko's Modern Life or Rugrats, and we realized that there's a lot more stuff happening in those shows than we had originally realized as kids. Because now we're a little bit more aware. I don't know. It's like I guess it could be like one of those things now too. Like I don't know how entertaining I'd find like watching a new Power Rangers show. Like
I'm just a sad human being. That's all.
Well, I mean, this is just gonna for me like roll into like I don't know if I'm gonna go see a new Power Rangers movie. I think maybe I'll catch it on USA or something on FX like a few years after the movie comes out. I don't know if I'm gonna go to the movie theaters for it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it really depends on the trailer. If the first trailer just like hits that nostalgia factor at me, they're gonna take my money.
I will, however, go to the movie theaters and watch a new Indiana Jones movie, especially if they have Harrison Ford stay as Indiana Jones. So apparently, the producer says that he's not going to recast the role for Indiana Jones. So I don't know what that means. Does that mean that Indiana Jones is not going to have the titular character in the movie? Because you really think Harrison Ford wants to reprise his role as Indiana Jones again?
He wants. I think part of the reason, actually, it goes back to one of the reasons why he wanted to come back to the Star Wars is because, if you know, like back then, Harrison Ford wanted to die. He wanted Han Solo to die a lot in like Empire Strikes Back. He didn't want to come back. He was upset that he had to come back for Return of the Jedi. He's like, just kill me already, So I think that spoiler. I think he's gonna die in Episode 7. But aside from that, Harrison Ford. He's actually signed. He was always signed on for 5 Indiana Jones movies. Even from the start, he had 5 Indiana Jones movie in his contract. So the producer, he's the producer basically says this is a well-known producer. He works with Steven Spielberg. He was a producer in all the other Indiana Jones movie, even the Crystal Skull. But he's saying that he's not going to recast Harrison Ford, but he's going to try to figure out a way to continue the franchise. And you kind of knew that, Disney purchasing Lucasfilms, they're gonna and having, Indiana Jones being under that umbrella, they're gonna continue with the series. Like I don't know if you heard all the rumors with Chris Pratt possibly being Indiana Jones or Bradley Cooper, to kind of pick up the mantle of Indiana Jones. So I mean, I don't know how excited I would be, to be honest with you, to have an old aging Harrison Ford kind of doing this. I mean, maybe he's going to play similar to how Sean Connery was in, I think, was it the second one? Was it the second one or the third one? I don't remember. Where basically Harrison Ford will play like the father figure, and basically he'll kind of pass the mantle off to someone else.
But I mean, that's what they kind of did in Crystal Skull and with Shia LaBeouf. I mean, I don't think that worked out so well, but I don't know if you could do that again and get away with it.
Oh, yes, you can. Why can't you? Why can't you? Tell me why can't you?
I mean, I guess you can because it's the Indiana Jones property. But like, I just feel like doing that back to back
does have to make sense.
So then you have to ask yourself, like, well, what happened to the other guy?
He died.
Shia LaBeouf got ran over.
He's off being in memes. Let's do it. I'm sure
abducted by aliens. That's the answer. Abducted by aliens.
Yeah,
that's
they on their honeymoon they went to go visit an alien planet. That's why, and they dropped off Shia LaBeouf over there, and then he met Megatron in Optimus Prime. But yeah, I don't know how that's gonna play out.
I'm just not sure also like what the adventure would be if you had to do something like that again too.
It would probably be in the 70s, right? Because the last one was that in the Cold War. Last one was in the Cold War, right? With the Russians.
Right.
So you would figure it'd be 70s or 80s even.
Yeah, nothing super exciting happens.
Yeah. So that's why I'm not excited about this too much. To be as much as I want Harrison Ford to be in it. Maybe if it'd be cool if he just like they did like they had Harrison Ford in there, but then they flash back and have someone younger and retell his adventures like Bradley Cooper and Chris Pratt and have them play the younger Indiana Jones, but then still have Harrison Ford in there because I think Indiana Jones was at his best when he's fighting Nazis, right? I think honestly he was the best when he's fighting Nazis.
Well, I think a lot of people enjoy movies where you fight Nazis, and like it doesn't matter like what like generation you're in or what time period you're in real life. Like people like fighting Nazis, even back from the 60s up until now. Everyone enjoys a good Nazi punch.
True. But in also like physicality wise, that was his peak. That was at his peak, right? As a character, Indy was at his peak during those times.
Yeah, I'm really not sure like what kind of obstacles you could throw at an aging Harrison Ford or an aging Indiana Jones to follow suit with that, like, and have him really be
Alzheimer
engaging. Navigating the maze of your mind. Yeah, I just it's one of those things where like the series has gone on like too long between movies, and it's just like it's really tough to get it connected. You're right. I mean they have to like basically do a passing of the torch kind of thing if they want to keep the franchise around. The problem here is that the name of the franchise also happens to be the name of a character.
I agree.
So there's a real problem with that. Unless you do a reboot or a reimagining of Indiana Jones, like it just doesn't make sense to me that he should return for another movie.
They have another son, that's why, and his name's called Indy. No, his name is not even called Indy. His name is Henry. Or is it Henry? I believe. Like it's Henry. I think it's Henry Jones. Indiana is not really his name. His name is Henry.
No, his father's name is Henry. I'm pretty sure. His name is actually Indiana.
They're gonna make me have to look for this.
I'm almost positive. I don't know. This is just something that has gone on way too long.
I'm sorry. His name is Dr. Henry Walton Jones. Dr. Henry Walton Jones. Indiana is his nickname. His name is Henry as well. He's Henry Walton Jones Jr.
So they're the Waltons.
Yeah.
Like Walmart Waltons.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, this is just a series that just, I don't know, like you need to have it like really short, like a few movies and done. And
yeah, I agree.
Move on or reimagine or just reboot. And that's kind of similar to like what I would say like with like Harry Potter, for example. Like I think like the series of books have just gone on like a little bit too long. People want to explore the lore and the universe more, but like I don't necessarily need to have Harry Potter to be, part of the universe anymore. Like you could have the Harry Potter universe and like not have Harry Potter because they've grown it out so much, and the books kind of fleshed it out so much that you don't really need him anymore in order to keep the universe standing. And that's why they have movies coming out based on like one of the other books, which is all about like monsters and creatures and stuff.
Yeah, Spectacular Beasts and Where to Find Them or something like that.
And I don't know, this new thing about an eighth story about Harry Potter like being in the series. Do you really need more of him? Like his time is done. He's gonna go off and retire, and like
one would argue that they don't have enough. So think about this. There's a lot of franchises out there. Think of Avatar. Avatar was the highest grossing movie, and it didn't leave as big of an imprint in terms of our pop culture, right? Because you don't hear anyone talk about Avatar, right? You don't see people dressed as Avatar. Like I'm just saying, like in terms of like pop culture impact. it was the highest grossing movie ever. No, unless hopefully Star Wars beats the record, but it's like it was like an afterthought basically, because no one even talks about it anymore. So with Harry Potter, it's still it's still there, it's still lingering. People still talk about it. Think about it. These books have been out for years. Years. I mean, like I think I read the first book when I was in middle school. The first movie came out, I was in middle school.
Homer's Odyssey has been out for a long time, but no one wants more stories about about Odysseus.
Yes, but I guess it's also the cult following that kind of supports it, and also it's credit to J.K. Rowling to she puts like these little tidbits out here and there, and also like the theme parks, all these things kind of like fuel this keep up like Harry Potter in our minds. And of course that big truck of money that she loves to have in the backs in her that comes up in her backyard every single day.
Well, there's something that I think about when I think about like how long Harry Potter, or like a lot of other characters, even like you even look at video game characters, like they last for 5, 6, 7, 8 different storylines, and you kind of think about it as like unrealistic, like how much bad shit can happen to all these people, and like
ask John McClane. Ask John McClane.
No, even better. Even better, watch 24, all 9 seasons of it, or whatever. Like, how many bad days can this guy have? Like, I bet, like in real life, these FBI agents, like CIA agents, like have really boring lives, like filling out paperwork nonstop, and then they have like one bad day, which is like really cool, important, and they remember it. Like, does bad stuff happen to these people so often that they just don't remember like half of the stuff that happened to them? It's like I don't remember like what I ate for lunch 2 weeks ago, and like for these people, like they live such interesting lives to us. Like, oh, that bad guy, yeah, okay.
I completely agree that you don't really need Harry Potter in this world. I mean, you already established the world. He's just one character in this wonderful world that J.K. Rowling introduced to us.
What's interesting, because the name of the books and the name of the universe is the Harry Potter universe, right? And it's really big and expansive. And you have something else like the Star Wars universe, which doesn't have a named character. Like, there's no draw to like want to hear more stories about Luke Skywalker specifically.
It's more just Skywalker in general.
Right? I mean, with Harry Potter, like, is there really a big draw to have more Harry Potter storylines? Or is it really just like, hey, let's have something in that universe that's going on that's kind of fun?
You never need sequels, buddy. It's just that as long as it makes money, that's all that matters. And as long as people are demanding for it too.
They're expanding the universe with, the mystical beasts and where to find them or whatever. Like, but you really need another like Harry Potter like storyline? I don't know. It's just
you don't, but hey, people are still gonna watch it. It's not for me and you will not go and watch this play. By the way, this play is sold out. It's 2 parts. It's in 2 parts, and basically the first part plays in the afternoon, and the last part plays in the evening. So you get both parts all in one day. It's a marathon, but it's not for me and you.
Harry Potter uses the bathroom. It'll be like a Mr. Bean kind of thing going on.
Oh, you could have done that with Jack Bauer. Like, he goes to the bathroom. He has to go to the bathroom sometime. 24 hours. He has to take a shit sometime. He's like, God, I'm hungry. I gotta take a shit.
So speaking of characters that have existed in their universes for a very long time, though not a titular character or titled character, we do have Halo 5, which came out yesterday. And kind of want to talk about it a little bit. I haven't actually beat the game yet, and just picked it up last night after work, and I made it like halfway through the game, but I only played the campaign. I didn't actually touch the multiplayer yet, and I don't know. I'm really engaged because it's a great story, and I've read a few of the books, which is unusual for me because I don't normally read books, but I think the storyline in the games, at least, is very engaging, even from the very beginning in the first Halo game. Alan, have you played all the Halo games?
Yes, I think I played Halo 3, ODST, and Reach with you when we used to do the midnight launches.
Yeah, it's
It
too
was
bad we didn't
stupid.
get it this time.
I forgot. I forgot that it came out too.
Yeah,
I asked you if
I was
I
at
was wondering if you
home
took
and
off.
I was like, I probably could go to midnight launch, but I decided, I'd rather just go to bed.
You could have called. You could have called me. I would have done it.
Does
It
that
would
mean
have
I'm
made
getting
a
old?
sense.
Like, I don't know. I,
Yeah.
I really like it. It seems like they sort of reinvented the Halo game, but kept the classic feel to it. The mechanics of the game seem like updated. Like if you play a modern Call of Duty game right now, there's a lot of mechanic, or even like Titanfall. There's a lot of mechanics in there which you kind of expect from a new shooter. One of them is, and this isn't necessarily a mechanic more so than a technical feat, is 60 frames per second on a shooter. I mean, it looks really phenomenal. Like 60 frame, like we used to talk about like Counter-Strike, like frames per second, like playing CS together in 1.6, and like, oh yeah, 30 frames is fine. Any more is like extra. And that's because like the graphical like fidelity back then was just terrible and it didn't matter.
Nope.
But I'm having a lot of fun with the game. I think it's a little bit too nebulous with the story. I think they don't move it quite as fast as I would like, but they definitely keep it engaging during that time. And I just don't see a lot of fleshing out happening with some of the extra characters. Like what you guys know about the universe just from watching TV ads or just reading about stuff online before the game came out is pretty much what I know, and I'm halfway through the game, which seems like, like, oh, well, that's a terrible story. But it's actually really good because they have a lot of depth for everything but some of the extra characters, which are part of the co-op, which I complained about, which is not couch co-op. You can't side-by-side split screen on a single Xbox and play Halo. But there's a huge button as soon as you start the game that underneath the campaign that says let's play co-op, and you have to do it online. And like the entire story is set up for having co-op. Pisses me off to no end, but
that's stupid. Well, I have a question. From looking at the ads, there's basically two teams. You basically have a Master Chief's team, and you have this other team that's
yep. And you know as much as I do about them so far, and I'm halfway through the game.
Really? So how does it switch? How does it play out? Do you like switch? Do you play one mission with them as one group, and then you switch off to the other group?
Yeah.
How does that work?
I was reading someone else's review about this last night, or at least a review about the game, and they were saying that the story is very disjointed and it doesn't connect really well, and there's some logical step errors that like, hey, this doesn't make any sense. What they do is they seem to be going back and forth each mission. So you're playing one team and then the other. And you already know just from, again, watching the ads that this guy, Spartan Locke, is hunting the Master Chief. And you get to play as the Master Chief for a few missions early on because you're playing every other mission with him. But you don't get the reality of what's happening because he doesn't even know what's happening. He's just doing. I don't know. It's a little bit strange that this is kind of the way it works, but I still think it's really good and worth a shot at least. Definitely worth my $60 so far, even just halfway through the game.
Okay.
You have anything else about Halo? You have any questions?
Well, more of the multiplayer. I kind of read some reviews how like apparently Halo 5. The multiplayer, I mean, I know you haven't touched it yet, but about how it kind of brings multiplayer back to its prominence, kind of how it was like Halo 2 or Halo 1. So I don't know what are your thoughts on that?
So I haven't touched the multiplayer and played a game actually, but in terms of the game mechanics, I think they do a really good job of integrating, at least in the single player. They have a certain weight and feel to both the movement and shooting mechanics, so that it competes really well with sort of the modern shooters, understanding that players want to feel engaged in what they're seeing on the screen and being able to. One thing is like hit detection, and that's always been a big thing with people, playing shooters. Is like if I shoot him, like it should hit and it should do so much damage and it should feel that way. That's one aspect, but the other aspect is like the actual gameplay and stuff like that, which unfortunately, because I haven't played the multiplayer, I can't give you a lot of feedback on. What I can give you feedback on, though, is the requisition system. So it's like their progression system that they sort of have set up in the multiplayer. and they have 3 different packages that you could buy, and essentially they're like $1, $2, or $5, and you get a number of different random items that are in there, which include skins for your weapons, different armors, different animations for assassinations, and various other like cosmetic kind of features that are randomized. But the big thing that you're looking for in there, other than the skins for your weapons, which everyone loves in any game, is the actual recs or requisitions. And basically, they allow you in the Warzone game mode to summon items that would show up from orbit. And basically, it could be like a common item, which would be like a random item that drops for you in the game, or it could be a legendary drop that's inside one of these rec packs, and it's like a scorpion tank. Like it's a guaranteed scorpion tank, and no one else gets it like during the Warzone match just because you have this one power up basically. Doesn't seem OP, at least at first, but again, I've yet to explore what this stuff actually does for you. So I mean, Halo's great, but of course, there's a ton of other stuff to talk about. I could go on all night about this. And in fact, I will probably be playing the new Halo as soon as we finish with this show. So this might come up again even next week for even just a short bit. But I want to move on to a few other things that I saw on Engadget, because I'm a regular reader of Engadget, and of course I have to give a little credit to them, because of course we're going to show off some stuff on the webpage here. And that's the first article is about being able to pay with your clothes. It's actually a designer who makes a dress that has NFC receivers and transmitters that are built into the clothing, so that you can actually walk up to a terminal at a Starbucks, for example, and be able to like put your sleeve over it and be able to pay for your drink in the morning. And this one actually is kind of funny, because they show this picture here. Apparently the NFC item is built into the bow on her dress right there, right near the cleavage. This is like really, really unsettling, at least for like from a perspective of like someone checking you out. But
that guy is checking him out. Look how pervert. They had to pick the creepiest looking dude of all. Look at him. Jeez.
It's Porn Stash from Orange is the New Black. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd put the NFC transmitter like right there. I think I'd probably put it somewhere else. But at least in this photo, and they actually describe it in this article, that they have it built into the handbag or purse that she's holding, so she can swipe that over. But I think I like this idea about having NFC transmitters in your clothing, although durability is an issue, and security is another. I think there's something to be said about being able to pay for stuff or make transactions without actually having to take something out, like having to take out a wallet and take out a card, or even having to take out your cell phone. I think there's like the future is I pick up an item in the store and I could literally just walk out with it. Like I don't have to engage with someone, have them try and sell me a service plan. I could literally just walk out and I would have paid for it, and that's it. Like there's no interaction that's necessary on the part of the store, and saves them time and money, because I literally just walk in, walk out, and I got what I needed. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's huge overhead costs that get eliminated. Alan, what are your thoughts on this, man?
I think all that matters is whether the clothes are going to be cute or not, right? I mean, no. I mean, to be honest with you, for girls, they're not going to buy any clothes, no matter how cool it is, if it's ugly.
So I mean, how about like in jewelry, right? I mean, you have smartwatches too. Like how come this technology isn't like really built into a lot of smartwatches to allow you to use Apple Pay with your smartwatch? I mean, I haven't seen anything like that. Maybe it is there. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know. This is like in clothing and like articles of clothing, like your shirt and like stuff like that. I think it'd be kind of cool. Or like, how about like if you get an alert on your cell phone because you have NFC in your socks? You're like, hey, you're not wearing matching socks.
Well, the thing with the Apple Watch, it's stupid. I'll tell you that it's stupid. You still need an iPhone to use it. Stupid piece of garbage. That's my opinion on it. I'm an Apple hater. Suck it. But I think this idea with the NFC, I mean, like you said, the future is basically you walk out and then you basically you pay for it, right? Um, the problem obvious is the security. I mean, that's always the biggest problem, security, right? Because someone could because you can you have the NFC on, you walk past something, you're like, oh, I paid for it, and someone could walk right past you and just take all your money.
I think basically. A more likely situation, because I mean, that can happen with a credit card in your wallet, right? Or like your cell phone NFC.
That's why
someone just.
That's why I put it by my balls. I put it by my balls so no one scans it. That's why.
Yeah, I don't even know that. I'm never touching your phone now, by the way.
Yeah.
Or your wallet.
I don't put it in my phone. Yeah, I put it in my underwear.
But a more likely case would be like, hey, I have this shirt and I'm letting my friend borrow it, and they go to the store and they're wearing my shirt. Does that mean that they're paying for stuff using my shirt?
There has to be. You need a device.
Someone's wallet, right?
Steve, there needs to be a device. There's no way. I mean, there must be some form of device that's connected to it, right? I mean, that's what I would think.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that these items are like connected somehow to your cell phone.
Your phone. Yeah, Bluetooth or something like that. Some form like that. There's no way it's just that, free willy nilly. I mean, it can be.
There doesn't necessarily need to be, though. I mean, there are NFC sensors and a lot of things that just have the data like built in onto the chip. This way, when you wave it over, it's
more user friendly that way, because you want an interface, because you're not going to interface with your shirt. Your shirt's not going to have an LCD screen for you to be like, oh, I want to use this card today. Or like, well, for her, she'd be touching her boob, be like, I want to use my Visa today as opposed to my MasterCard.
Well, it might be interesting though for like other reasons other than just paying for stuff. Like you put on a shirt and it tells you that it doesn't fit anymore.
So you're saying you're fat. You don't. I don't think girls would like that. I think they would kill themselves. Actually,
there are other reasons for it too. Like let's say if you have a vast wardrobe, right, and you have a bunch of NFC on all of your clothing. You can lay out an outfit like on your PC or on your cell phone, and then like it'll tell you like what rack it is in your closet or like where your clothing is in your house. Because Internet of Things, your NFC in your closet might be hooked up to your Wi-Fi or.
Steve, I don't know how much money you're making right now, but I wouldn't have a closet that big.
Well, I'm just saying,
that much clothes.
As things become cheaper and like this NFC stuff.
Things will never be cheaper, Steve. Me and you both know. Things will be cheaper because they're obsolete.
Cheaper. I mean, you remember when buying a gaming PC was like $5,000, and like, nah, there's no way. Now you get a gaming PC for like $1,000 easy, even less.
Yeah,
$700.
True technology, but but still.
Technology moves forward, but it often like leaves a lot of stuff behind, and
there's a lot of crap.
Roll into our next topic is actually something about copyright exemptions. Basically, there's always been the DMCA for copyrights on devices and on software that prevents you from making changes to it. Whenever you install a new game or new software on your computer, you actually have to check off the end user license agreement. And part of it is saying that you're not allowed to modify the software at all, even though that you now own it. You actually own a license to use it. Just like your cell phone or your iPhone, you don't actually own the software that's on there. You actually just have license to use it. That's why they can push updates to it, and they make their money that way. But one of the things that is a big deal, at least in gaming, is you have multiplayer games or any other games that have some sort of validation, like that CD key that was always on the back of your jewel case or came inside the manual on the box. You had to connect to the internet and do that crappy thing that you had to validate that you actually had a real legit copy of the game. Well, what happens if the company servers don't exist anymore so that you can no longer actually validate that software? So what do you do then? You're stuck with this disk that prevents you from even playing it, right? But you already paid for it.
That means that game isn't very good. That means that game isn't very good if it's obsolete.
But
it's not very good either.
I mean, do you have any games like this, like that have CD keys that like you tried to register and like they just won't connect to the servers? Or do you have any other games that were like they shut down the servers and you just don't have access anymore?
No, Steve. I didn't. We're poor. We didn't have things like that. I didn't have a Bible like you had.
Yeah,
the only game that
So I mean, I have a gaming case of just like CDs. Like people used to put their music CDs in, like a whole like big binder full. Except I had video games for like my PC and stuff on there. And we jokingly called it the Bible because it's like, you know, perfect. Let's not talk about whether or not the real Bible is perfect or not. But I think there's something to be said for like, hey, like there's an exception so that you could fix this problem if you're a hacker. Because I mean, the average Joe is going to be like, my game's broken, I can't connect. But it's kind of cool that you can go online and like get help from people on forums or just on websites and be like, hey, we have a CD key crack and it's legal now because they don't check it anymore because they don't have servers. I think it's really important that there's this exception and this loophole in the law that allows this to happen. Though things like where it just disables the multiplayer content and still allows you to play the single player even though their servers are down, like you should still need to pay for the game for that. You shouldn't be cracking it just so you could play a single player game.
Well, just land it. Just land it. I would land Quake or like or Doom or something like that. Like Quake, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of old games that are out there that would basically be like Quake, like Unreal Tournament, the original one. Those games, like they just don't have dedicated servers out there anymore. Like, what do you do?
No one. I mean, true.
But yeah, I mean, landing is definitely something you can do. But
what's considered old though, Steve? What is the because you said old games, like what is it? Is it like a 10-year?
Well, no. I mean, it's not a time thing. It's just about whether or not there's support for it anymore.
Okay, so as long as it falls
like
that.
For example, old MMOs like the I'm trying to think of like old EverQuest, like the first EverQuest,
the first one.
Game. Like
Final Fantasy 11, stuff like that. Really old games.
Right. I mean, those games that have multiplayer components where you have to connect to a server, like, and you own that license to play that software, play that game. And, like, people are working on workarounds so that you don't have to connect to a server so you can play it, or make their own server so you can play it. Like that, those things are legal now, and I think that's kind of cool. I think that is something that protects the end user, right?
Yeah, I agree. Because you purchase, you have this asset, and you basically can't use it because it's because of like the server's down or something like that. But that shouldn't diminish your experience with it.
Yeah, I could see this being like something that would be transferable to like other software though. Like let's say TurboTax, for example. People do their taxes using TurboTax. But let's say if TurboTax decides to go out of business. Very unlikely, but let's say they do, and you can no longer get to their servers to validate an old version of TurboTax. Like then you can't open your tax files that weren't saved in PDF form and modify them inside their software because you can't connect and validate your software. I think that's kind of important, and it's not even a game. It's something that you need access to so you can verify and change your personal information. Like that's a big deal. And I actually talk about in the article that this exemption actually exists as well for fixing your car. Like there are certain portions of your car which are designed and set up as non-user, non-owner accessible items, except for your radio and like some of your other electronics. Basically, they're set up so that like, hey, like if you're the user of the vehicle, like you're not supposed to go in there like legally. But now with this sort of exemption, if you need to fix your car because it's something you need to use, and you need to happen to go around these restrictions on usage or access, then you could definitely do it legally too. Because I think fixing your car is probably important, right?
Yeah, I guess just buy a new car then.
Yeah, how's that going? You buying a new car or what?
Don't remind me.
So the last thing I want to cover is actually Sony's Paris Games Week trailers. They had a event out in Paris for all sorts of different games, but Sony has like a special show that they kind of showcase new stuff that was coming out. It's almost like a mini E3 or a mini Gamescom or something like that. They just wanted to like bring out new stuff and kind of bring up the hype, I guess, for the holidays. Because they need to compete with something like BlizzCon that's happening in 2 weeks. I just want to go through the trailers, even though we might not necessarily have seen them. Just kind of go through the titles of the trailers and the titles of the games that they're coming out, and just quick like 1 or 2 word like, hey, this is a good idea, this is a great game, interesting, or I don't like it, where's that going? And we'll finish out the show from there. I will bring this up on screen for everyone to see. And here we go. All right, so coming down the list, the first one we have Star Wars Battlefront. Alan, your thoughts?
Yes. Didn't I watched the trailer? I think that's the only trailer I watched. Yes. They had Han Solo face off against Darth Vader. I don't think that's going to be the best way for Han Solo. I mean, I played the beta for a while. It's cool. I think, of course, that's the game I'm looking forward to the most right now.
Right. So, a special note: I don't actually own a PlayStation 4. I don't think Alan does either.
No, but oh my god, have you seen the trailer for that one, for Battlefront, the other one, where like the 2 friends?
You're talking about the 2 friends.
So there's a trailer out there for Star Wars Battlefront. It's for PS4 specifically, where basically it really taps into nostalgia. Whereas this guy who's old, who's grown up, he's like, he's like our age basically. He's works like in a business. He's like in a casual business gear, and basically he's like, reminiscing about like the time when he used to, like play with his friend, about Star Wars. Like he has like
that was on TV actually. I've seen
yeah, exactly, a TV spot.
Yeah.
It really that nearly made me cry.
We'll put that in the show notes. This way people can catch up on that.
Yeah.
I think Battlefront's interesting. Again, I don't know PS4, so like any of these games here, I'm probably not gonna get on PS4 if they're available on other formats. But some of them will be.
But you'll play the game though. But you will play the game though. However, that's a difference.
We still have opinions about these things. Star Wars Battlefront, awesome. I definitely think it's gonna be worth it. Beta was cool. Call of Duty 3, Black Ops 3. Thoughts? And this is actually showcasing their zombies mode that has become very familiar with the series. And I'm kind of getting that too. There's been a lot of Call of Duties. There's another series that's just gone on for way too long.
Yeah, it's
Street Fighter 5.
Christian would love this. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it, but obviously, there's a huge following. There's a huge thing on Twitch. Evo is still a huge thing in Vegas. I think it's gonna be a big deal. So I mean, we saw it at a Comic-Con actually. They were playing at a Comic-Con. So there's a huge following. I think it's gonna do really well. Not my cup of tea though.
Yeah, I've never been a big fighter fan, and I mean, I used to play it like in the arcades and stuff like
button
that.
Button smash.
Yeah, I had no idea what I was doing. I still have no idea. And that leads right into Tekken 7, which was a surprise announcement at Paris Games Week. Cool. I've seen like back in the day, Tekken used to be like one of the like most graphically advanced games.
3D. It was a 3D one. That's
why. It was like the first really 3D fighter that was available in the arcade. And I think it's kind of cool that they did a surprise announcement, but I'm not so interested in that. Battleborn, I actually haven't had a lot of or heard a lot of interesting things about this yet. Have you?
No, I've not. What is that? I have no idea what that is. It looks kind of campy. I mean, it looks like kind of like Legend of the Zelda-esque kind of.
So I don't know. I think Battleborn is like sort of like Borderlands meets Overwatch kind of view.
Oh, okay.
I don't really know exactly what the storyline is, but it's supposed to be like an extension of the Borderlands sort of RPG shooter kind of thing.
I see.
Boundless. Have you heard anything about this? I haven't.
What? I have no idea what that is.
Just from this screenshot here, I mean, it looks like Minecraft on crack. I mean, it looks cool. But I mean, I don't know. I don't have really much to say about that.
Yeah, me either. Next.
Vector. So this is Avicii Vector. I have no idea what this is. Do you know what this is?
Oh God, is this like it looks like a trashy EDM crap? Oh my God, can you be a DJ or something like that? It looks like it.
It looks like Audio Surf that Valve put out on Steam. At least, yeah, that's what it looks like.
Oh God, oh God, and I used to love those kind of games too. God, no. Next.
No Man's Sky. So this actually got a release date actually during this event. and I believe it said June was the new release date, and everyone was kind of anticipating this because the trailer that they showed from E3 last year, I believe, got like rave reviews.
Yes.
What do you think? What do you think about No Man's Sky?
It looks really good. I mean, I have no idea what it's about, but it looks really good. Because I saw the trailer back in E3, and I'm glad that actually Sony announced a release date for one of these games. As opposed to E3 is like, hey, we're gonna make Kingdom Hearts 3 in 2018. We're gonna make Shenmue 3 in 2019. Like they never set like a hardcore date, which is kind of disappointing because basically you just have us anticipating, oh, we're gonna have these games. So, and No Man's Sky looks really good.
Yeah, as far as recent games that it looks like, Elite Dangerous is another one, another like space fighter kind of explorer sim kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
I definitely enjoy fighter sims or like space sims like this, and it takes it to the next level because exploration is a big deal, and it seems really seamless. Like going from space to like going to a planet, you can actually do that. And a lot of other games, like you had a load point or they just wouldn't let you go down to planets and things like that. Like if you go into orbit of something and you go low enough, you get to the ground and you can land and you actually get out and walk around. I think that's really cool. Like the real seamless transition. I think that No Man's Sky is definitely going to be a really big hit for the PlayStation 4. Unfortunately, it is only on PlayStation 4, so I don't know if I will get it, but I'll be really glad to see it when it comes out. Matterfall. Have you seen anything about this? I haven't.
It looks like it's probably I thought it was like the sequel to Titanfall. It's not. It's
so
not.
it's not.
Really not.
So, I mean,
it's not. It's not. It's a joke. It's not. It's not. Please don't. It's not.
So one thing, it looks like this is all just CGI from like a cutscene. So I don't trust trailers like that.
I hate those.
You don't get a feel for what the game is, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because I like having when they do like they did that with Metal Gear 5 where they actually gave you like gameplay footage during their trailers, and then you could get the feel of the game. But like for these, I hate these because it's not the same as the game. It's just like when I play Kingdom Hearts, I'm like, oh, the cutscene's awesome. But the game
it totally looks. I mean, this armor totally looks like the armor from Titanfall or from Dead Space or something like that. That'll have that same kind of futuristic look. Ratchet and Clank.
I was never a huge fan of them. However, I know how big of a deal they are. They actually have they have like I think they have a animated movie that's coming out too. So this goes well where they're trying to release a game and a movie at the same time. So I think this is good for Sony.
Yeah, I've never been a big Sony fan. I mean, I have a PlayStation 3, and I mainly bought it just because
Metal Gear,
and The Last of Us. I mean, those were like really, really big titles that I wanted to have it for. Ratchet and Clank has always been a game that's been on the PlayStation and has been a really big part of their sort of core games. But I never got into it. I mean, definitely some humor and stuff like that I'd probably enjoy. I'm interested to see like what the trailers look like, but just another like platformer adventure game that looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
Drive Club.
Oh god, I remember. I think this is bikes though, because I remember Drive Club was supposed to come out with the original PS4, and they had to push it like a couple of months later. But it's a racing game.
Yeah, my exact sentiment. It's a racing game. Like if you like cars and you like driving, I guess it's cool.
They have better games out there. You can play the one that's on Xbox. Forza or whatever those games are a lot better.
Forza gets a lot of high quality reviews too.
Exactly. So why waste your time with bikes?
Gravity Rush. I don't know what this is.
I have no idea what this is.
Maybe pick some stuff out of the YouTube here.
It seems like a platformer. I don't know. No, it's very like anime-esque or like Final Fantasy-esque kind of.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I'd be interested in,
or even like Katamari. It looks Katamari-esque.
Yeah, actually, you're right. It has like adventure platformer look though.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it looks cool. I'm sure if we actually played it, and we might enjoy it. But like just from looking at the trailer, yeah.
Uncharted 4.
Yes.
Now
I actually,
you've yelled at me for not playing any of the other Uncharted games, and I really should because they get rave reviews, and it looks like the type of game that I would play. And Uncharted 4's trailers, including this multiplayer trailer, I watched a good chunk of this. I mean, it looks phenomenal. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I'm watching it right now. I think it's just as fluid as it's if not as fluid as the original one.
Well, I
I
mean,
think.
it looks like it's a 60 frame game,
Yeah,
which is
it
like
looks
what people are relying on as like the benchmark now.
it's glorious. I mean, I see more characters though. However, oh, that's the multiplayer. Well,
Yeah,
obviously,
this is
yeah,
the multiplayer trailer you're
yeah.
watching.
It's well, I told you, I love the first. I love the second one. I thought the third one's okay. The second one was just blew my mind. I never played the first one, to be honest with you. But from what I've heard and what I've read, you don't really need to play the first one because like there are kind of like standalone games. You don't really need to play the third one. I need the second one to play the third one, basically.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It looks good. Definitely worth a look.
They'll remaster it. They'll remaster it for the PS4, no doubt. They're gonna want to sell those games.
They would have already done it though before the launch of 4 if they were.
They haven't. 4 hasn't come out yet, have they?
No, but
when are they gonna come out? Next year.
Yeah, also you haven't heard anything about that anyway. If the Uncharted 4 is going to come out next year, they'd have to come out with it like this holiday season.
Yeah,
it's not happening.
Dreams.
What is this? I don't have no idea what this is.
I don't know. I don't know. It sounds like I don't know. To be honest with you, I have no idea. Dreams. I'm gonna look through the thing real quick.
I know it looks kind of like a adventure game that's
it's cutesy. Oh yeah, I remember this one. This is the one where they were trying to sell out, where basically you create your own levels. So basically, you create the levels and you let people go through it. I think it was that one where basically you set the music, you set like all the things. It's kind of like a Minecraft-esque almost. Like you're making like a movie essentially, and basically you get to manipulate all this stuff. That's what it is.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I think that's what it is. I could be completely wrong. I forgot. This was at E3.
Rigs. I haven't heard anything about this. Looks like some sort of Transformers kind of thing going on.
Yeah. Why does it look like the battle droids? It looks. I'm looking at the thing. It looks like a battle droid. I don't know. It looks okay. I mean,
looks like some sort of like arena combat robots kind of thing going on.
Oh, like Gundam? Like Gundam Wing or something like that?
Not quite. Like, have you ever heard of the game called Monday Night Combat?
No.
Worth a look. It's a MOBA except first person shooter. It's got a very cartoony feel like Team Fortress does.
You shouldn't have told me it was a MOBA. Nope. I'm not a MOBA guy.
Anyways, that's what this looks like, except it's like with some sort of weird robotic kind of stuff going on.
Yeah. What's the next one?
Until Dawn. I think this is a showcase for their new VR stuff.
Yeah,
and
Morpheus,
I think it's right? Sort of like a horror survival game. I don't know. Have you heard anything about this?
No, I've not. But I'm looking at the trailer, and it looks fantastic. I mean, I can imagine, having to actually play. It might be the Doom of our generation. Oh,
I'm still not sold on the VR thing, though.
I know. Me either. Neither, to be honest with you.
One of those VR helmets, I don't know.
Well, because also we're both glasses users. That's why. So how is that going to work for us? Because I hate 3D.
Robinson, The Journey. I don't know what this is. Maybe take a quick few little captures. This looks like it's all CGI, so I don't think I like this either.
Why is this? I see dinosaurs.
Why is the monitor from Halo or the guy from Destiny here in this universe too?
No, I thought that was the.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I don't.
All right. Anyways, Battlezone.
Is this like Team Fortress S kind of thing?
No. So Battlezone is actually a game from a long time ago. If you go and actually wiki Battlezone or just Battlezone Google.
Wow, I'm looking at it right now. It looks really fun. It looks like a. I like the animation actually.
Yeah, it's so I'll bring it up here on screen for everyone. Game from the 1980s. They had a game that came out in the 90s that I saw on the shelves at the computer store. I don't know if it shows the title here. Actually, here it is. Here's the box art for it. I remember seeing this on store shelves when I was a kid. Anyways, I kind of peeked at the video there that's in on the screen now. And it's just like a tank sim kind of driver, shoot 'em up kind of thing going on. and the video is probably a little bit choppy because we're trying to live stream this, but basically tank sim kind of driver thing.
Yeah.
GT Sport, Gran Turismo, driving game.
Another driving game, but it has a better following than the other one. Wild is the one I want to talk about.
Yeah, what remember
we talked about Far Cry, where they're going to Stone Age? Basically, think of that. It's an open world kind of like kind of game where you're basically doing the same thing what they're trying to establish with Far Cry.
Yeah, so I saw something about this very briefly. Apparently, you could ride bears in the game.
What's wrong with that?
That's probably worth my time. There you go, riding a bear.
Yeah. Well, you're a shaman and you're trying to survive this world, like this Stone Age kind of world.
I think they like survival games are kind of being propagated a lot right now.
Yeah,
it's just something that's out there. Detroit: Become Human. This I saw like a quick little cutscene of, maybe like 5 seconds, 10 seconds. I didn't actually watch this trailer. I think it's about like a android, like a robot that's a female and like has emotions, and she's like trying to figure out what it is to be human, kind of thing. I don't know. Have you seen anything about this?
I'm watching it right now. I mean, but I'm sure it's a great way for Detroit to kickstart their economy if they start building droids, right?
This is a scene from iRobot.
It is. A lot of it seems like it too. I mean, looks okay. I mean, once again, it's one of those like you just see a cutscene and then that's trying. I don't know.
The graphics look phenomenal just from the video.
However, it's still a cutscene though. It's not the gameplay.
Yeah,
we just talked about this, so it's just like, all right. I don't know. It doesn't scream to me.
I mean, it seems like something I want to check out just because I really like heavy story elements to games, and it just seems like that's something that's going to have it. Again, it's probably going to be another like PlayStation exclusive, so I probably won't get my hands.
I thought Watch Dogs was going to be deep, and it wasn't as good as I thought it'd be.
Yeah, you know what? I thought I bought Xbox One for the Watch Dogs, and I didn't end up getting it until later. And I played the first 10 minutes of it, and I was just like, man, this is boring.
Exactly.
It's Grand Theft Auto, except with a hacker element to it. Really wasn't that interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, first I need to get a PS4 before I play these games.
Yeah, I mean, how does this make you feel about wanting to get a PS4?
In terms of excitement, to be honest, not much. I probably won't get one until Uncharted. I mean, everything else seems like there's some brand new IP in here.
So I mean, you don't have either system. So I mean, no. Like at this point, if you had to like decide, like I'm gonna get an Xbox One or I'm gonna get a PS4, like which would you pick?
Can I vote for C and just buy a brand new computer?
That's a reasonable choice as a gaming system.
That's realistically. I mean, because I really want to play Battlefront. The only game that I could really want to play for the consoles for myself is Uncharted. I mean, or if they make Last of Us 2. Halo is something that I've played Halo. I've played all the Halo games. To be honest, I'm not as huge following as you, Steve. I played them all. However, I'm not like, I need to play this one. I'll get to it. To be honest, it's just like, if I play it, I play it. If I don't, That's just me, though.
Do you remember Leam?
What?
Leam? BLEEM. It came in a yellow box of blue text. Usually in a computer store. So, does Bleemcast ring a bell?
Oh, what is that? You have to show me. I don't know.
Basically, it was a set of software and cables that let you, it was just software that let you play Dreamcast games on your PC.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
they had Bleem for like the original PlayStation 2.
Oh, no wonder Dreamcast went under.
PlayStation as well, not PlayStation 2.
Oh, that's why Sony Sega went under, you bastards. One of the reasons why Dreamcast.
I totally think that like something like that would be awesome these days. Like be able to play Uncharted on your PC.
Yeah, but with emulators and everything, they're having a tough time to try to convert that right now. I mean, I think they just got like PS2 games to work on PCs, I believe.
Yeah, I mean they're just so drastically different, and it's just I mean the architecture that they use for systems, because they're all the same, is like vastly different than what you use on PC.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever get to the point where, I mean, it's the only thing is that they'll just release more games on PC and then they'll do away with consoles.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be like years, away if you want a game to show up on PC, and somebody's got to work on it. And God knows the gamers are too lazy.
True.
So, PC, that's what you would do? What if you didn't have that choice?
I've always been a Sega fan, but because you have Xbox
How
One.
about mobile phone? Because you can get Nintendo's new games coming out on Android and iOS.
Yes, they're announcing it tomorrow, but we don't know what games they're gonna have. I think maybe Pokemon Go, the thing that they were teasing about before.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be the only thing that they announced, though, because
no, of course
they
not.
need to do something bigger, right?
Something with yeah, Nintendo's a sinking ship, to be honest with you, too. They need to figure a way to right the ship, because they have all these like beloved properties, but the problem is that they don't know what to do with them.
Right. Okay, I think we're going to wrap it up for tonight. I want to thank everyone who's watching live, and thank anyone who watches this after we're done broadcasting, when this posts to our YouTube page, about 10 minutes after the show is done. We'll make sure to update the show notes in the video description below if you come back to this page. This way you can check out some of the links for stuff that we were talking about. And in addition, Alan usually puts up some of the tags on the timeline too, so we can jump around to stuff and find it if you need to re-find the video, if you want to listen to the conversation again, even though we were massively boring at times. Alan, thanks for joining me on the show.
Thank you for having me, Steve. I hope the Knicks have a better season this year. I hope they stop sucking. But I'm a Knicks fan. I'm used to the disappointment, just like the rest of my life.
I'm Steve Chin, and I want to remind you to check us out on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. We're sometimes late, but you can come back to our YouTube page and take a look afterwards anyway, even if you can't catch us live. And invite you to leave some comments, send us text or email, and join us on the show and talk about stuff, or just tell us how awful we are. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you guys next week.
My nipples are cold.